morning, traders and investors. Welcome to Pre-Market Info. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elconin. On today's jam-packed show, we will make comments on the market spiking, on Draghi saying he'll do whatever he can to get the euro stable again. We'll take a look at the volatility in stocks due to earnings released this morning: ExxonMobil, Triple M, Dow, Colgate, and UTX. We'll take a look at the wild activity in Visa following their earnings release last night. Also follow up on Western Digital, Seagate, and Whole Foods. And ZNGA going to zero. And tonight's earnings: Amazon, Starbucks, Facebook. Dennis, a lot of activity this morning. What do you think about that ExxonMobil beat by $1.50?
Well, let's first, and the ExxonMobil is crazy. Okay, let's start with the ExxonMobil then. ExxonMobil traded up here to 87 and a quarter on their initial earnings release. The initial report here is $3.41 just coming out against estimates of $1.95, but I don't know if there's some one-time charge in there or something, because the stock is coming back in hard, trading 84.92 now. So ridiculous rally, getting up all the way up to 87 and a quarter. We have talked about this whole 87 area for how long here, Joel? 87.50, there's multiple highs here in the 87. So ridiculous that this stock can rally that much off this report, and now it sells off. These earnings fades keep working.
If they beat by $1.50 and they're down 60 cents, where would they be if they just met estimates?
Yeah, well, there's got to be something else in there, so we'll probably find out there's a one-time deal or something here in a few minutes. And if we do, we will update you if we find that out on the show. But obviously, there's something else here. The stock is 84.78 now, just keeps drifting down. But it just goes to show you've got to watch if you're trading the after hours or you're trading in the pre-market and you're buying stocks like ExxonMobil that trade hundreds of millions or millions and millions of shares a day, and you're buying it when it trades up $2 on 200,000 shares. That move's probably not sustainable. If it all of a sudden starts and it needs to trade a lot more volume than that to sustain that move. And if it's open and going right into a whole resistance area that we have been talking about for months and months, it looks like a sell to me up there.
Yeah, well, you would have been very quick. This is, even though you had that wild activity, I still think the numbers hold up. You had an 84.53 close. Wednesday's low, you had a close at 85.24, a low at 84.66. We're hanging in there right there at yesterday's low at 84.66. Keep an eye on that level. And I still think that 85.5 area, if it gets back up there, look for major resistance.
Wild ride, though. Let's talk about the overall market before we go into the other earnings, because we've had some comments here from Draghi this morning. The market was trading down earlier this morning, and then Draghi came out, says the ECB will do whatever is needed to preserve the euro, and the market spikes over 20 points off of that. We were down 4 or 5 points on the S&P. We're up now 14 points. Man, this market is just so linked to whatever is said in Europe. It's ridiculous.
How does that comment affect the value of U.S. companies?
It's just these comments. We hear them every other week. We hear something over there. This is 3 years. Oh, we're getting our problems solved. Now we're ready to take action. Well, of course you're ready to take action. What do you mean? Oh, you're ready to take action? That's just ridiculous that the market doesn't think. Oh, well, no, they weren't ready to take action. Now they are. Come on, we know they're ready to take action. I think this is another ridiculous rally here again. This market is just wacky. It's driven just by headlines. It bounces. 20 points off of one stupid comment. It's crazy. This market's nuts.
I have a highest number of 356.75. That was Monday, Globex high. I refuse to put any more numbers on this sheet. I mean, this is ridiculous. 1354.50, the Globex high. If it gets up there in that area, I think people should just totally get out of their entire
well,
portfolios
well, we're not
and
doing
get flat.
recommendations here. We
Okay.
don't give recommendations, but obviously we're looking at this rally as an opportunity. If you were taking heat, we're now coming back up. If we go up another 10 points, we're getting the upper end of this range here again too. So I mean, we're still in a trading range here. We've drawn this channel here for a while, but now you can say that we did have a potential double bottom in there too. So if we just look, I'm not drawing it very well there, but if you look back to the July the 12th, the low was 13.1975, and then the low yesterday was 13.2125. Overnight low is 13.27. So if you looked at those two, you could say, okay, well now we have a potential double bottom in. So it becomes interesting. We almost got to redraw this channel. Maybe I'll try to do that for you right now while Joel does a little bit of analysis there. But you've got this double top thing that happened up here in this 1376 area, and now you have this double bottom thing that's happened recently in this whole 1320 area. So now that's maybe your new trading range that you look at going here. Instead of looking at that upward channel, we kind of got a straight out flat channel right there for you to trade in.
Yeah, we were discussing this yesterday, how the market's held this range. Basically, the low of the range has been 1316 on June 19th, and the upper end's been 1376. 60-point range, put 1346 in the middle. It's just been bouncing around that like a yo-yo. Of course, you get these bogus news stories about QE3 or Draghi, and it drives the market up. But really, yep, nothing is this. Is really solidly fundamentally based on this at all. It's all rumor and innuendo.
It really is.
Yeah, we could rag on this stuff all day long. How about some more earnings?
Did have some other big ones here. UTX just reported here a few minutes ago. Stock is actually trading just down just slightly. Very light volume. Only 40,000 shares here have traded. It's last at 72.40. So looking at this, hard to say where this one's going. We obviously have major resistance up there at 75, but this is muted action here today. I'd probably check out the low from a couple days ago at 71.40. If it takes that out, you can go back to July the 12th where we had a low of $70.95.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pre-market activity. It spiked up this morning when the initial news came out to 73.54 is where we spiked this morning. 74 was the spike last night. The luster came off that stock. We came down. We traded to 71.50. Trading above that level right now. I would keep an eye on that 71.50 is a good parameter here. Looking at yesterday's activity, 71.90 was yesterday's low. 71.40 is a two-day low that coincides with the pre-market. But wow, if this thing can't get above, I know it's a ways away, but look at that wall at 76.
Yeah,
I mean, this stock has got some work to do. I mean, there's no way you can look at this and say that this is a good pattern for a stock. There's no way. I mean, it's trying to form a bottom here, but it looks like it's just getting ready to break down right through the bottom.
Well, and this is if you look at this chart from the last 5 months here, going back to March, we were up in March, we were up at $86. And then we had this huge move down over the next 3 months, made a low there around $70 in early June. We've kind of just consolidated, but the stock multiple times has tried to get back up over that 76 area, hasn't been able to hold it. And when a stock hangs out here in this range for that long, most of the time from technical analysis, you'll see a down move, you'll see a consolidation period, and then a continuation of the original move. And if you have a continuation of that original move, that would knock another $10 off of this price. So just playing it from a pure technical perspective, it looks like it could break down. If you go out to the weeklies, we look the same thing. You got this whole head and shoulders thing almost kind of happening if you look out over the last 2 years, which is a scary thought. So if we start to break down, you could easily see $66-65 on this. Not today, obviously, off these earnings, but saying it starts to break down, you swing traders out there, this could be an opportunity for a nice setup for a short.
Okay, what else do we have on the earnings front?
Got lots of other ones here. We won't have time to go through them all, but 3M reported here just a little while ago as well. This stock's kind of bounced around here. It was trading down on the initial report. Very, very, very light volume. I'm talking 900 shares have only traded since it's reported. It's trading in bid at $89 right now. I'm looking at this. This is a real tough one to call. I think 90 would give you some formidable resistance, big whole number up there if we continue to rally up. But this is a tricky one.
Yeah, this stock here, we made a pre-market low of 88. We've got a nice bounce off that. That 88 coincides with yesterday's low at 87.96. So major support here at the $88 level. If it comes down there, surely looking for a bounce. Coming on the upside, you did have a double top at 89.51 and 89.56. So I expect that 89.50 area to be good resistance before we test 90.
Those Q2 earnings from ExxonMobil did include a gain. I'm just getting that across the wires, so that's why that's not a pure number, that 341, which is why you're seeing the stock actually sell off pretty significantly now. Just to go back to ExxonMobil's trading 83.95. What an after hour! What a pre-market range here for this. Getting all the way up to 87.25 on that initial headline, selling off now all the way down to $83.92. That is an insane range for a stock on 384,000 shares that typically moves a buck on millions of shares. So
how are they
crazy.
keeping the S&Ps up here at 1350?
Yeah, it didn't sell off at all. You know, if you had an ExxonMobil range here, it rallied all the way up to 87.25. Now it's sold off a buck and a half, or it's down over $1.25. So wow, that's just such a move for such a big. You know, it's your second largest market cap stock. It's crazy. Dow Chemical reporting here. It's weak this morning. This stock looks like it's sitting just ready to eventually take out this support area here. 29.30 is where it's trading. So actually it is trading below this critical level here. We go back right to the low there, trying to grab it from July, 29.35. We are right there right now at that low. And if you go back to early or mid-May, we had multiple lows there in this whole area as well. 29.27, 29.32. This is a critical area for the stock to hold.
Yeah, it's down on not a whole lot of volume. Here's one of your thicker stocks trades quite a bit of volume. So to have this kind of move in the pre-market on a relatively little volume makes me a little suspect of the down move. Someone bought some stock at 28.99 as that was the low in the pre-market. I would look for good support up from 29.30 down to that $29 level. If you're a bottom picker, you just may want to wait for them to flush out some of those bids at 29. Coming back on the upside, old support, new resistance. All those lows, 29.75, 29.81, 29.80. There will be people looking to lighten up some stock at that level for sure.
Yeah, this is scary though. I'm just looking at this. You can say, oh, well, maybe we'll bounce off those old lows. But if we don't start bouncing off that 29, I'd almost take the opposite side. I think 29 is critical. I actually see some institutional buyers down there too. We start taking out 29 on this thing, it really starts to open up because we had a big run. We got to go out to the weeklies to really see the run. But if we go to late last year, we ran up from that $25 to $30 area in a couple of weeks. We could run down very quickly too. I think this thing starts to get under 29 bucks. It's real scary here. I think it's perched and it might do that. It needs to pop. It may bounce initially off that 29 area, but if it hangs out there too long, starts to take that out, don't be long this thing. This thing starts trading 28.90. I don't.
Well, and I don't even think it's going to trade 29 during the day session. So there you go.
It may. There you go. So we'll see who wins here on this one, but I think it could. I think it could take out that 29 eventually. But that's your bogey. That's your big number. Keep an eye on that one. Lots of earnings last night moving to ZNGA. Absolutely getting murdered on their numbers. It's trading $3.05 right now, down $2, down 40%. Is this stock going to zero here? Where is this stock heading?
It's going to zero before it goes to 6.
It's going to zero before it goes to 6.
I tell you, going back to the fundamentals here, do you want to guess how many Zynga games I've ever played in my entire life? Yes.
I'll
give you
guess,
an over-under.
Yeah, well, the over-under is 0.5, and I'm taking the under.
And you are correct.
Ooh, ding, ding, ding.
I mean,
I
just don't understand. I mean, do they have Words with Friends? Is that theirs? That's how much I'm in the dark about this.
I don't know anything about it.
I just don't get it. I just don't understand these companies. I don't know how they make money. I don't.
They don't.
I don't. Yeah, obviously they don't. But here we are. We're down on 2.5 million shares, Dennis.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't know. You could try and pick a bottom in Zynga here. I'm looking at the bottom in the pre-market. You got 295 has been the initial spike. Been hanging out here around these $3 level. Man, it just hasn't bounced. It's just consolidated here. Keep an eye on that 295. You absolutely have to be a bottom fisher. Take a look at 295, $3. Below that, zero.
Sold to you. Sold to you. Facebook is trading down on the Zynga report as well here. Obviously, not looking pretty here. Down $2, or actually down 27.50 right now is where Facebook is trading. So trading in sympathy. And Facebook reports numbers tonight. So this is an interesting setup here where you're starting to get back down. We had the low on July 17th at 27.15. How low have we got here in the pre-market, Joel?
26.50.
Oh, wow. Overshoot on Facebook. 27.50 now.
Yeah, I'd be a little more skeptical of this move because we did hit the 26.50, got an immediate bounce to the 27.50 area, and then kind of meandered around. Now we're just hanging out at 27.50. I'd be looking at the good support at the $27 level. I don't think you're going to get another spike down under 27. I think anybody that has been playing this stock incorrectly, unlike me, from the short side, this is probably a good opportunity to lighten up on those shorts ahead of earnings. If I did my homework correctly, a lot of the analysts said that Facebook was coming out with realistic expectations for the first quarter. So this could be a little gift here for you people that you're short to Facebook.
A couple other ones I just wanted to highlight that did report there last night. We've got Seagate, STX trading up significantly off their report, and also similar stock WDC. It's trading up huge. Look at the WDC. 38.40 is where it's trading right now. It's almost up $6, up 18% on their earnings. This thing is just taking off here. We're looking like we're going to open up in this area right now. I'm just pointing it out on the chart. I mean, 40 looks huge on this, but we're still $1.50 away from there. But we've already rallied $6, so I could see it. I just think this is one that
I don't think so.
You think people are going to come in and start selling?
I'm going to put on the short Western Digital buy Dow spread.
Buy Dow chemical spread. It's interesting pair trade there you got going.
Yeah, they both got a D in the symbol.
Well, that works.
39.55 was the pre-market high.
Whoa.
Since we made that pre-market high, we've come and nestled here. We got down to 37.65. A lot of consolidation at the $38 level. If you're not going to short this thing off the open and risk it up to that pre-market high, I'd watch out if this thing doesn't hold $38. I wouldn't want to be long this with your money. The Seagate's having having a similar reaction, not quite as much. Cleared out some major resistance at the $28 level. Yep. I'm looking at this high that you had. 30.51's not going to work here. It's not going to get to 30.51 today. Why don't we go to the pre-market high for our major resistance? And that's 29.85. So
big $30
let's keep an eye.
number.
Yeah, 29.85 to 30. Let's call that our number for today.
Yeah, big moves up in both of those stocks. Though one other big one that reported last night is flying is Whole Foods, WFM. Here's a stock that absolutely got killed 3 or 4 days ago, getting the whole thing back today. Look at this chart though. Look at the consolidation we had up here in this 95, 96 area. Had multiple highs just above 95. We broke down, we rallied this whole thing back, so we're coming all the way back up. You're trying to tell me there's some people sitting on some losses right now that are just, thank you, thank you, thank you, I will sell this and not buy it ever again?
95 and a 12, 95 and a quarter were your highs back from July 13th and July 16th. Hasn't quite got there in the pre-market yet. We did get to $95. I don't know who would buy this thing at $95, but that's a pre-market high. Leave it alone, but if it breaks down below 94, get out of the way. There's absolutely nothing in here. There's nothing you can do, nothing you can say that can convince me that this stock has increased in value over 10% on this earnings report. And also take note, it's on like 27,000 shares.
No volume.
What are people thinking out there.
Yeah, it's crazy. How high did it get in the after hours here? How high?
95.
It got to 95. Like the high is 97 and a quarter. So you obviously keep an eye on that too, but I think you're going to start to find. So I tend to agree with you on this one, which always scares me when we agree. It seems like it seems like that means other people are thinking that too, and all of a sudden it's going to continue to try to punish us. Keep an eye on the 97 and a quarter though. That's the high of the year here. We're $2.50 away. I mean, we just rallied 9. So it's just don't throw short and think, oh, well, it has to go back down immediately. There's always a shakeout. There's always something to try to shake you out. Sometimes the better play is to wait till it has the momentum going on the downside. So wait for it to open as opposed to, and if it starts to spike off the hop, then you might get nervous. But if it opens and sometimes these open and just puke. So
It won't see that. It won't see. I mean, look at all that consolidation.
I know there's a lot of.
I mean, come on, man. There's got to be people stuck in this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, just like
It's a gift horse.
Yeah, I mean, if you've been long this thing and you sat down to this 82 bounce, and you don't take something off the table or at least put a stop in at 93 or whatever, you're a pig.
You're a pig. Get your money back. It gave your money back. Nice opportunity. Maybe take advantage of it. Big ones reporting tonight. We'd already talked about Facebook. Amazon's reporting here tonight. There's a stock that could be a market mover here as well. Won't move the market like Apple moves the market, but well, Apple didn't even move the market, I guess, because Apple missed in the market rally. But 219.31 is where it's up a couple bucks here in the pre-market. This whole 230 level, I want you traders to keep aware of that level. If they come out and they beat pretty handily, there's obviously multiple highs here. We had in May, we had a high just above 230, right at trying to grab it there, 230 and 50 cents back on July the 5th, and then we bounced and up to 229.39 on July 20th. So call that whole area $230. That's major resistance.
Well, 219.90 is the pre-market high, but Dennis, you're sleeping a little bit at the wheel on this one. You had a double pot top at 226.61 and 226.58 back on the 23rd and the 24th. Double top there. Also, 2 days before that, you had a high in the 227.5 area. I think that is going to be a stopper in any kind of good earnings from Amazon.
Other one reporting tonight, big one is Starbucks, SBUX. This is one we used to give them heat because the $4 coffee, and then they came out with a $1 coffee, so we weren't giving them as much heat, but still, $51. This is still trading out right now. A lot of people try to come out and say Starbucks, oh, there's good value here, but a lot of people were saying Starbucks had good value back when it was at $40 in 2007, and then it went to $5. $6. So I still don't. I look at the move from the last 3 years, and this is just my own opinion here, but this has been a crazy move down. How low did we get in 2008? $7.06. Was that the low? $7.06 we got down to at the end of 2008. In 2.5 years, we have basically went up 800% to $62. And now it's come back in a little bit at $50. Everybody says, "Look at the value! Look at the value here." I see kind of this cliff that we've climbed for so long. Not saying Starbucks can't continue to climb this cliff. I don't know how big it's going to be, but I think eventually it's going to end ugly here. We've kind of had a breakdown over the last couple of months. We had pretty good support here in the mid 51s. We've broken through there the last few days. Kind of consolidated for a few days here around $51. We're trading 51 right now here in the pre-market. The Sting gets a real good report. 54 is huge on it. I don't see it getting there. I tend to think that Starbucks. I'm a bad analyst in Starbucks. I'm biased against it all the time. So just because I've seen that move and I've seen those people get punished that owned it from 40 down to 7, gets up to 62. I'm like, who wouldn't sell this thing? From 7 to 62 seems crazy. But what's your take on this?
Well, you go on to look at the chart. I mean, we did dip down to 49.60 a couple days ago, 49.86 yesterday, 50.08 the day in between. $50 level. Let's just call it 50 even. That's huge. And then when you go and take a look at the daily charts, this spike had just a monster flash from 48 to 51 back in March. Had a big move through there. So when we talk about these vacuum areas, I think under $50 for Starbucks, you're looking at 48.
I agree. I think if it starts to break down, this could break down a lot more than a lot of people think. So you want to be careful on this one. Running late on the show here. What's your overall comments here on the S&P going forward? We're up
Man,
15 still.
I'm just baffled here, Dennis. I mean, you've already exceeded your average daily range in the pre-market. What is it going to take to drive this market back above 1350, 450, up to Monday's Globex size, 1357 or 1356.75? I mean, it's this market just baffles me. If people don't come in here and take opportunities of this pop on comments, not earnings, comments over Europe, I just don't see how I can sustain it. I'm a little too opinionated, so market will probably be up 400 points today.
That's our show for today, folks, and we will be back with you tomorrow.